In this video, let's talk about the MVP race and Patrick Mahomes at the top, a running back getting released, and then take a look at the confusing situation of wide receiver Justin Watson, who has been clearly struggling lately to produce on the field, yet still has seen a lot of playing time, and others indeed would like to see someone else's role increase instead. So let's talk about it, but first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new, smash that like button, and let's get into this video starting with Mahomes MVP race talks, because right now he is the clear favorite, and there's really zero debate. The latest NFL MVP odds via Caesar Sports are as follows. You can see them on the screen, and it's clearly Patrick Mahomes as the front runner, especially with Jalen Hurts and his injury not playing last week, and then him possibly not playing this week either. Right now, Patrick Mahomes leads the league in passing yards with 4,720, passing TDs with 37, is second in passer rating only to Tua Tagovailoa. He also leads in yards per attempt, points per game, first downs per game, third down conversion percentage, and fourth down conversion percentage, all while having a defense that is last in the NFL in the red zone, is 21st in DVOA, is about 16th in points allowed, and the Buffalo Bills, meanwhile, have the best red zone defense in the NFL and are fourth best in DVOA and have given up the second least amount of points of any other team in the NFL. I don't think you can technically count these defensive stats, so don't think that's what I'm saying here, but what I see is Mahomes having to work even harder to produce the results the team has, being they have less of an overall receiving threat than the Bills and a worse defense. And the reason I'm bringing up Josh Allen is because Josh's case for MVP has been making the rounds lately because he's beaten Patrick Mahomes, or rather the Chiefs, this season and will potentially lock up the number one seed, talking about the Buffalo Bills. If they win out, they're going to get the first seed. But I don't think that's how it works going back to the MVP race. Josh Allen has less passing yards, less passing TDs, less total yards, less total TDs, a lower passer rating, a lower QBR. In fact, the only thing he's done more of is throw interceptions. In comparison to Mahomes, Burrow actually has a closer case for MVP than Allen, but I still think Mahomes is the clear front runner, and it's solely his race to lose at this point. And speaking of losing, the Chiefs lost a player on the practice squad today as the transaction report revealed that they released UDFA Jerrion Ealy, the running back wide receiver hybrid from Ole Miss that was suspended in October for 6 games for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing drug policy. He was brought back in week 10 of this year, but didn't get called up or see any playing time during the regular season. The Chiefs normally keep their practice squad full, so I'd expect them to add somebody else shortly. Maybe playoff Damian Williams. He's a running back. The Chiefs just released a running back, and Williams is a free agent. We did a video on that recently. You never know. Honestly, I'm not sure that's what it is. If you look at a tweet from Charles Goldman just 10 minutes ago from when I'm recording this video, he said this: the Chiefs hosted 4 linebackers and 1 defensive tackle on tryouts. More info soon. So I would imagine the spot that they fill with Jerrion Ealy's release is either going to be a linebacker or a defensive tackle. All right, from here, I want to talk about some very interesting findings from the wide receiver room when I dug into the stats and talk about the confusing struggles of wide receiver Justin Watson. And in spite of said struggles, he's still getting the nod over wide receivers like the rookie Skyy Moore. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers delicious meal kits straight to your door that are confirmed even more fresh than Travis Kelce dresses on game day. My wife Danny and I have loved our dinners with HelloFresh for a few different reasons, but the biggest being that these meal kits have saved Danny time and stress when preparing the one meal a day that we all sit down to eat together as a family, which I would say for our family is the most important meal. Plus, the meals are legit delicious, with the proof being that our kids not only ate the meals, but asked for seconds. I was like, are you okay? Because that is not normal. One of our favorite meals was the steakhouse style pork chops, but honestly, it was all good. We like to eat pretty healthy, and when choosing our meals in the first place, felt good knowing that we had the option to choose meals that fit our preferences, meat and veggies family of 4 or fit and wholesome family of 4, and there are over 35 recipes to choose from each week with ingredients that travel from the farm to your house in less than 7 days. 7 days. So you know they are fresh. HelloFresh. One reason I wanted to recommend HelloFresh to you all is because with New Year's being right around the corner, I know resolutions are a thing for some of you. Maybe you want to eat cleaner or maybe save some money. Well, what if I told you that you could do both? HelloFresh's meals on average have 20% less calories than takeout, are 25% less expensive than takeout, and can be less expensive than grocery shopping, and they do all the heavy lifting for you. I like that. In fact, I couldn't recommend them enough, and I have a discount code for you all to use if interested. Just go to HelloFresh.com and use code HBTChiefs21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. Again, you just need to go to HelloFresh.com and use code HBTChiefs21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. All right, guys, you ready for this? I spent some time today. Okay, I spent hours today studying the last 4 Chiefs game and their offensive production, specifically through the air. So we're not talking rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, none of that. Just receiving yards, touchdowns, and kind of looking at the production over the last 4 games. So in the Bengals game, MVS was the receiving leader, catching 2 passes for 71 yards. In the Broncos game, it was McKinnon who caught 7 passes for 112 yards and 2 TDs. In the Texans game, it was Kelce who caught 10 for 105. And then in the Seahawks game, it was once again Travis Kelce catching 6 for 113 yards. Outside of the Bengals game, Juju Smith-Schuster has been the leading receiver in each of the previous 3 games and is clearly wide receiver 1 on the year when you look at his total receptions, yards, and touchdowns. But to be fair, McCole Hardman still has more receiving touchdowns with 4, even though he's been gone for like ever. Juju only has 3, but in every other category, Juju is the clear go-to guy as far as receivers go. Over the last 4 games, Juju has a touchdown. MVS has 1. Tony has 1, and McKinnon has 5. On top of that, McKinnon is the receiving leader, 223 yards, only behind Travis Kelce, who has 345, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who has 224. Yes, only 1 more total yard than McKinnon. Meanwhile, Kelce is clearly at the top in targets and yards after the catch. He hasn't caught a pass for a TD in 5 games, though, which is a little bit odd. And some other interesting observations were that outside of McKinnon, Juju, and Kelce, everything else is a bit less clear as far as who Mahomes is looking for over the past 3 games. MVS has 4 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. He caught no passes in the Seahawks game. I'd say over the past few games, he's been trending a bit downwards, though he did have a great touchdown catch in the Texans game. The next guy in targets is going to be Justin Watson, who actually has the 2nd most receiving routes ran of all wide receivers outside of only Juju Smith-Schuster, who has 130, and MVS, who ran 100. Justin Watson has just 7 less, 93 receiving routes over the past 4 games, and he's seen 9 targets, catching only 1 pass for 15 yards. Watson has caught the lowest amount of receptions of anyone on this list, aside from tight end Jody Fortson, who recently got put on IR. Hope he heals up soon, but Fortson only has 1 reception, with the kicker being he's only ran 19 receiving routes. Watson again ran 93. The only person similar to Watson in routes ran and targets is going to be tight end Noah Gray. He ran 73 receiving routes over the past 4 games and on 7 targets, caught all 7 passes for 82 yards. Meanwhile, Watson again, 1 catch on 9 targets for 15 yards. And these stats are being brought up because the name Skyy Moore has been trending on Chiefs Twitter, with people wanting to know why in the heck he's not getting more opportunities, especially when you have Justin Watson seeing way more routes ran, yet only has 1 catch for 15 yards in 4 games. Skyy has 36 receiving routes ran and has seen 3 targets, catching 2 of them for 12 yards. So he's ran a third of the routes Watson has been targeted a third of what Watson has, yet still has double the catches, a whopping 2 for 12 yards to Watson's 1 for 15. Now, I'm not saying Skyy Moore will suddenly change the offense forevermore, but I am saying that Justin Watson has personally been responsible for killing multiple drives. He had 2 costly drops in the Seahawks game, then the game before had a drop that he should have caught for like 50 yards, and it really cannot hurt to let the rookie see some more snaps, right? Obviously, we don't see an inside look of the coaching staff and what they're seeing and looking at, and for whatever reason, they are trusting the veteran in Justin Watson over the rookie, Skyy Moore, which is reflected by his overall snap count. The snap count does not lie. Some have said that the Chiefs are possibly worried about Skyy running the wrong route, which could lead to another interception. So a trust issue, basically, with Skyy and Mahomes, which Clay Windler pointed out that this has happened twice this year, once against the Niners and once against the Bills. So That's got to play some factor there, a trust issue with him due to his lack of experience. And then, of course, he's actually proven to struggle at times with those wrong routes ran that resulted in interceptions. And to be clear, I think this has nothing to do with Skyy Moore not being able to return punts. We already know he cannot do that. It's been made abundantly clear. And I don't think the lack of reps is some punishment because Skyy's lack of ability to return punts on special teams, I don't think so. Time and time again, Skyy has shown a pretty elite ability to catch the ball and also make people miss. He had a great play a few games ago on either a jet sweep or a screen that sadly got called back due to a penalty. And just last week against the Seahawks, he had a great quick catch juking a defender and turning what would have been no gain into about 5. That was his only target on the day though. So the question remains, will Skyy Moore? Could Skyy Moore see more playing time or nah, fam? I'll answer this in a moment, but first, look at this. Their season stats compared. Thanks to Caleb James on Twitter. Skyy Moore, 298 offensive snaps, 29 targets, 19 receptions, 217 yards, true catch rate of 90%. Meanwhile, Justin Watson, 442 offensive snaps, 30 targets, 13 receptions, 221 receiving yards, and a true catch rate of 76%. Caleb then says they've wanted to turn Watson into another chunk play threat, but it hasn't panned out. 101 of his yards have come on 3 plays, and he's been targeted every game at least once. Daniel Harms from RGR added to this saying, Justin Watson now has a 23.5% drop percentage. He's more than double the second highest percentage in KC. Of all the players in KC with 20 or more targets, only one receiver has 0 drops. It's Skyy Moore. It's also worth pointing out that these guys also haven't been used in the same way. Skyy Moore has been used more on short to intermediate passes, namely in quick receiving screens or short routes, mainly within 10 yards. Justin Watson, again, has been used more in a deep threat-like manner. Remember, he scorched J.C. Jackson for a touchdown early in the season. I liked that, but I wanted to see more of that. So again, it's not an apples to apples comparison here. I'm just saying it's all a bit odd, especially when you look at Justin Watson's lack of productivity over the past 4 games. 1 catch for 15 yards in 4 games. Huh? I'm honestly not sure what the heck to do with the experiment known as Justin Watson right now. He had some flashes early on in the season, but has really struggled as of late. I think he may continue to see snaps, but possibly in a more limited role here moving forward. But at the same time, I do not think Skyy Moore sees much of an uptick in snaps either for one big reason, or perhaps 2. Mecole Hardman is soon to return from IR, and also Kadarius Toney is starting to see a ramp up in his overall snaps after returning from this re-aggravated hamstring injury that will not leave him alone. So with the return of Mecole and the increased role of Kadarius, I have a feeling the Chiefs are going to want to use Mecole and Toney as much as humanly possible, which is honestly fine by me because Mecole is a legit red zone threat. I think 5 of his 6 total touchdowns on the season were all scored in the red zone, and then both of Kadarius Toney's TDs with the Chiefs this season have been in the red zone as well. And I think the rookie, Skyy Moore, may continue to see a dip in overall snaps because of the return of Mecole, the increased role of Toney, and the whole Justin Watson struggle may not do him any real favors here as far as increased playing time. I mean, let's be honest. Any short bubble screen, jet sweep, or quick pass within 10 yards, would you rather see those go to Skyy Moore, Kadarius Toney, or Mecole Hardman? I would think the Chiefs coaching staff will opt for either Mecole Hardman or Kadarius Toney, yard after catch masters. But that's just me, and it's not really a knock on Skyy. I think he's a good receiver that will see an increased role next year and may indeed have to wait until then, unfortunately. But what do you guys think about all this? Do you think I'm wrong and Skyy will see increased playing time in spite of the return of Mecole and increased role of Kadarius Toney? Just let me know your thoughts in the comments down below because I'd love to hear some other takes on that. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?